Alguien nos contrató. No sé quién.
Está bien. Yo sí sé.
Hey guys, Kiwi here. In this video, I'll be breaking down and discussing Lalo Salamanca during the Season 5 finale of Better Call Saul, along with theorizing and giving our predictions for what we think he's going to do going into Season 6. Warning of spoilers up to Season 5 Episode 10, the Season 5 finale, and let's jump right into this. So, in the Season 5 finale, we saw Gus's failed assassination attempt on Lalo at his home in Mexico. Really, Gus? These were the best men that money could buy? They're the best in their business? They were shooting at nothing. Okay, anyways, Lalo manages to get the upper hand on them, killing all of them after also tricking a few into getting stuck in his El Chapo tunnel for him to gun down. And by the end of the episode, we've heard almost every main character talk about how Lalo will be dead by tomorrow, so there's no need to worry about him anymore. Gus, Mike, Jimmy, Kim, and even Nacho running away all assume that Lalo is dead. But as we can see from the final shot of the episode, Lalo is very much alive and he's very pissed. Lalo knows that Gus hired the hitmen and he suspects that Nacho was involved or at least tipped off somehow. In this video, I'll be breaking down and discussing Lalo's next move going into Season 6, which includes what he's going after, who he's going after, why, and in what order. So there's two main parts to this video, Lalo going after Nacho and Lalo going after Gus. I feel like since Nacho was there the night of it happening, he's going to go after Nacho first. That's going to be his immediate goal, and then he's also going to go after Gus as well. First off, let's talk about Nacho. Where's he running to after he lets the assassins in? During the phone call in the bathroom, they just told him to get out of there. They didn't mention that they'd leave a vehicle for him or anything, so I assume that Nacho either stole a vehicle and drove away or that he's literally running away on foot. We may see what Nacho does at the beginning of Season 6, and I think it'd honestly be a cool scene picking back up from that same night but from a different perspective, showing Nacho run off, possibly steal a vehicle or something. This would be similar to how at the end of episode 509, we had Mike watch Nacho drive Lalo away from Kim's apartment, but then at the beginning of episode 510, this time we see Nacho and Lalo leave from Kim and Jimmy's perspective through their window. Anyways, if Nacho got away on foot, then he's not far, and we might actually see a Lalo versus Nacho showdown at the beginning of Season 6, potentially the same night or the following morning of his assassination attempt. Now, assuming that Nacho gets away in a vehicle, where will he go? Will he be able to make it back across the border to Albuquerque, race to his dad, and convince him to skip town? As we know from the full scene with Nacho's dad in Season 5, which I did a breakdown on, his dad isn't going to run from his life because of his son's decisions, so if he dies, it'll be Nacho's fault and he'll have to live with it. Because of this, I doubt that Nacho will be able to convince his father to leave, and this is assuming that Nacho is somehow aware that Lalo is alive and also able to get back to Albuquerque. If Nacho thinks that Lalo's dead, he'll probably want to report back to Victor, Tyrus, or Gus to confirm this, or maybe even Mike, along with confirming the safety and stability of himself and his father. Even if Gus won't let Nacho go because he wants to control the opposition, he can still bring Nacho under his wing in a way where he isn't putting a gun to his father's head as a threatening motivator. Nacho has definitely earned some leniency here, but Gus really couldn't care less about him. He's only considering things because Mike is sticking his neck out for Nacho. Now, once Nacho, Mike, and Gus become aware that Lalo's still alive, and if and when that happens, all cards will be on the table once more. Nacho will be in immediate danger, and I feel like Gus may even use him as bait in order to finalize Lalo's murder. This is all assuming that Nacho will even be able to make it north of the border during the beginning of Season 6. What if Nacho doesn't even make it that far? Could Gus possibly get Nacho to go to that small villa that Gus sent Mike to during Season 5 when he got stabbed? Does Nacho even know that place? Probably not, but it's possible that Gus could direct him there. I assume that Gus had a better plan to save Nacho other than just telling him to run for it, especially if he's gonna risk so much to save Nacho, possibly tipping their hand as he told Mike earlier in the episode. And as we know, this did very much tip their hand because not only did Lalo survive, he assumes that it was Gus's doing, but he also probably assumes that Nacho had something to do with it. Now, I feel like Lalo would have survived regardless, so the only difference here is that Nacho survives. So here's the thing, how much does Lalo suspect Nacho? Is it as simple as Lalo Lalo realizes that Nacho betrayed him for Gus, or does Lalo just suspect that Nacho might have possibly had something to do with it? A piece of brilliance in the episode is that we don't see Lalo kill the final assassin with the burnt face. Instead, we get even more storytelling through visuals, as Lalo looks up at the booze along with the drinks that he poured for Nacho and himself, implying that he's on to Nacho. In my opinion, Lalo looking at the glasses and implying that he's on to Nacho is paralleling back in the season 3 finale, when Gus stared at Nacho giving Hector's pills to the paramedics, implying that Gus was on to Nacho back then. And then as we saw in season 4, that was very much so the case, and Gus turned Nacho's world upside down, so will we see something similar happen this time going into season 6, but with Lalo? And going back to when Lalo was speaking to the assassin with the burned face, I love how they showed Nacho's drink instead of what we thought we were going to see. As I was saying before, I mean, how cliche is it to see someone get information out of the last living opponent and then kill them once they've outlived their usefulness? We assume that that's what happened here, that Lalo kills this man with the burned face after he radios in what Lalo wanted, but we don't waste screen time actually seeing that. Instead, we get exposition showing that Lalo's onto Nacho, along with that amazingly dramatic final scene of Lalo crunching on the gravel, walking away as the sole survivor of his home. Instead of just seeing the cliche, oh, kill the final guy after he's done being useful to you, we get everything that I just explained, and I love the ending for the episode because of that, because they could have just ended off the last episode with a bang, Lalo kills the last guy, and then cut to black, but no, they showed so much more than that. Anyways, about the burned face assassin, he tells Lalo that he doesn't know who hired him, that there was a middleman. Lalo says that it's okay that he knows, as it's pretty obvious that only Gus would hire a group of hitmen in the dark like this. And also, technically, Gus never retaliated after all the things that Lalo did to him, so this was his retaliation. Originally, I thought the assassin was talking about Nacho when he was speaking about a middleman because Nacho let them in, and then saying that he doesn't know who hired him is a completely different piece of information. Now I realized that he was talking about Gus in both instances, and that Gus hired someone who hired him, aka the middleman, so even the assassin sent to kill Lalo didn't know that it was Gus who hired them. This may be obvious to some of you sitting there going, well duh, but still I just wanted to clear that up. Now after Lalo survives the assassination hit, he tells the final man to radio in that the job's done and that Lalo's dead. Does this convince Gus that Lalo's dead? Does Lalo now have the cover of everyone thinking that he's dead when he isn't? How long could Lalo potentially get away with everyone thinking that he's dead, and what sort of upper hand could he get because of it? What could he possibly do during that time frame? Also, if he did want to come back to America, he'd have to stay in hiding due to the fact that the cops are probably looking for him after he ditched his fake name on bail and ran back to Mexico. At this point, I'd like to bring up the fact that Gus tells Hector that he's the last living Salamanca in Breaking Bad, implying that every other Salamanca that we've ever seen, including Lalo, will be dead by that moment. That being said, some people are theorizing that this is the moment that Gus thinks that Lalo is dead, and that he'll believe this up until the dying day in Breaking Bad. Although I'd love to believe that theory, there's no way that that can be true, right? During a season 5 finale behind the scenes video on AMC's YouTube, the creators of the show confirmed that Lalo will be making his way back up to Albuquerque next season to take part in some sort of revenge. If Lalo's going to chase down Nacho and Gus, there's no way that they don't eventually realize that he's still alive and that it's Lalo who's causing them problems. Now, it's entirely possible that when Gus and his men get radioed in the message, they'll be able to tell that the man is lying, or at least assume that, essentially throwing away any idea of Gus actually thinking that Lalo is dead. Will Lalo start pecking away at Gus's operations from the shadows, creating this long plan of destabilizing him so he can go in for the final blow? Or at the beginning of season 6, will Lalo just go crazy and go straight up and try to kill Gus Fring? Could we get some sort of crazy final standoff between them where all cards are out on the table, with possibly Mike or Nacho coming in to kill Lalo and save the day? And that's another question. If someone were to kill Lalo, who should it be? Should it be Mike after the history they had with Werner in season 4? Could it be Nacho finally ridding himself of the Salamancas? Or could it be Gus? I don't think that Gus would physically outdo Lalo in a fight, and usually Gus has henchmen take care of kills for him unless it's a box cutter situation, but I feel like this won't be the case. I'm so incredibly excited for season 6, and I can't wait to make more season 6 prediction videos. Honestly, it took me a few extra days to create a full video on Lalo because I knew I wanted to get this video done next before any other season 5 discussion. It's a major cliffhanger that ended off the entire season, and so obviously it had to be one of the first major things that we'd address now that season 5 is over. That being said, they left it off on such an open-ended cliffhanger with so many branching possibilities that I wanted to make sure that I not only covered every avenue I see possible, but that I also give some context and substance to those theories. Also, if there's anything else that you can add to to these theories, or if you even have your own, please feel free to leave your own thoughts down below in the comment section, as I always look through them and sometimes I use them as motivation for future videos. It was really fun theorizing about season 6 during this video, so look out for a bunch more of prediction videos in the future mixed in with a bunch more season 5 discussion topics. So where this video was a few days late, I sort of took the weekend off as Friday was my birthday and I turned 23 for any of you wondering, as I hilariously get comments as if I'm 16 or something. Anyways, as always, thanks so much for watching, especially during the off season. In the past, I've trickled out during the off season a bit more than I'd like to admit, but this time going into season 6, even though it might be a long stretch, I'd like to keep momentum going for as long as possible. Not only because I'm having so much fun doing this, but also because there's actually a lot to talk about. I have a full card of video ideas for season 5 and season 6 topics, like a solid 20 to 30 video ideas, so we'll be busy for a while. But even then, when we finally finished all of that, I'd like to take a step back to season 1, episode 1 of Better Call Saul, and give just a full definitive episode review going through each episode of each season, all the way up to the end of season 5 where we are now. Obviously that sounds like a large task, and heavily edited videos take a long time, especially when they're like 20 to 40 minutes long, so when I'm doing 5 to 10 minute videos right now compared to 20 to 40 minute videos, you can tell that they'll be a bit few and far between, but it's something that I'd really love to do, and if it goes well, I'd like to also go back and cover all 5 seasons of Breaking Bad. Who knows, maybe I should do Breaking Bad first since it's already all over, I'm not sure, let me know below. Anyways, I'd appreciate a like on the video if you've enjoyed anything that I've said today, and if you're new here or just haven't yet already, please subscribe and hit that bell notification thing for updates on whenever I do post new content on Better Call Saul. I hope you're all staying safe out there during this pandemic, and as always, I thank you guys all so much for watching, and until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.
Another night owl, huh? You don't sleep?
Not tonight.